Hi guys, welcome back. Friday, and today we're looking at another band from Boston. Now, if you remember back to our St. Patrick's Day show, we talked about a band called the Dropkick Murphys, and they were a band that's very eclectic, call themselves Celtic punk, but they really are someone who's close to the heart of most people in Boston. And I mentioned to you back then, anything that was based in Boston or filmed in Boston probably has Dropkick Murphys in their soundtrack. A very, very unique band, and again, one of my favorites to listen to when I get a chance. We're going to look at another band, also from Boston, also did a kind of punk version of ska music. Some of you may know who I'm talking about. It's the mighty, mighty BossTones. Now, firstly, I'd never heard of them before. I come home one night, I'm checking out Saturday Night Live, and first, Saturday Night Live, yes, I've been a fan since it started, followed it through all the years, enjoyed all the performers, but I'm one of the first to admit that it's been pretty uneven sometimes. Sometimes you wonder with the writers whether they're just throwing stuff out, the actors are just reading the cue cards. It really doesn't have the excitement all the time that it used to have. But I always make sure and check out Weekend Update and the bands. Well, this night I come home, who's performing? It's the Mighty Mighty BossTones. And the first song they're doing is one of their big hits here, The Impression That I Get. And it was just amazing. After hearing that performance, I went out and sought out their music because I really couldn't pass up an opportunity to discover this band. Dickie Barrett, great on vocals. I think that night he might have been having a little cold or something, but he sounded even better with that. I mean, it was great. And that song is one of those ones that once you get in your head, it's there for a while. And it was a very unusual style. Again, this ska punk thing is something I wasn't aware of. And again, when I say that with Boston, we got ska punk, we got the Mighty Mighty BossTones with Celtic punk. Maybe it's a trend. Anyways, let's get back to the album. So check them out now. Of course, again, I don't live in a metropolitan area, so I don't have a lot available to me. And in those days, no streaming, right? This is late 1990s, maybe around 1997 or so. And no streaming networks, so we had to rely on the music stores or the record stores, in this case the CD stores, to bring them in. So I went out and of course I sought out the one that had the hit on it. Put my finger in the right place here. Mighty Mighty BossTones, Let's Face It. And this is quite a ways into their catalog. They've been around since, I'm going to say, the early 1980s. And we're talking 1997 that this clicks. And for me, I'm going to call it a breakout album because it got a lot of commercial play. It wasn't, just one that got played on university stations or that kind of thing. It actually had a certified hit on there that people could get behind. Just give you a rundown of what's on that album. Now, performers, firstly. Obviously, we got Dickie Barrett on vocals, and he does a lot of the writing. When I look at this one, he has co-written every song on the album. He had some visual concepts in the packaging. He seems to be a major player in this band. We got Nick Albert on guitar, Joe Gittleman on bass. We got Johnny Vegas Burton on saxophone. First nickname I've seen in there in a while. We got Kevin Leonard on saxophone. Dennis Brockenbaugh on trombone, Joe Soros on drums, and Ben Carr on BossTone backing vocals. So that's the core of the band that we're listening to. Here's the tunes that are on the album. We've got Noise Brigade, Rascal King, Royal Oil. Not going to go into that one. The Impression That I Get. Can't say enough good things about that tune. Let's Face It. That Bug Bit Me. Another Drinking Song. Numbered Days, Break So Easily, Never Mind Me, Desensitize, and 128. So that's the basis of that album. Now, I also want to talk about another one after that because, yeah, I did enjoy that. Although I'm still, when I'm listening, I'm looking for that hit. I'm looking for that impression that I get. Second one, Question the Answers. It was the album just previous to the breakout album. And again, this is well into their catalog. There was lots of albums before this. But this one, just to go through, beauty is again, with all of these with CDs, right? We got books. You can see we got some artwork in there. We got the lyrics in there. Something to read along with, sing along with if you like. And this one was special because, hey, pulled out pictures, almost like a little poster of sorts that you could put up, along with all that good information on the back. And again, if you've been watching for any length of time, you know, this is one of the things I really liked about albums when we started this. There was always stuff to look at in there, information about the players, information about where it was recorded, maybe the lyrics, maybe photos. CDs, they brought it back. I mean, we had 8 tracks, we didn't have any of that. We had cassettes, we had very limited amount because of the size, but a lot of times they didn't include things. CDs kind of brought that back for us, that era of having, you know, something in our hand that we could follow along when we were listening to the records. Streaming, we've lost it again. But on the other side, we don't have a lot of information there, but back when we were listening to these, we didn't have Wikipedia, we didn't have Google, we didn't have all those things that we could go to and find out this information. And I'll tell you, when I look up these bands, there's so much info there about the bands, about the recording, about the history, about everything that they had done that, I mean, it wasn't included here, but it just wasn't available to us at that time. The band ran 1983 to, I'm going to say, mid-2000s, maybe 2004, and then they went on hiatus. Now, they did come back again, 2007 to current. I'm not sure what they're doing at this point. Again, my interest in them was when I'd heard them on Saturday Night Live, so we're looking at the late 1990s and what they were putting out at that time. So I haven't really checked out their new work. Hey, but now with the streaming networks, good chance to go back and revisit some of that. And that was the point of this show in the first place, not only to introduce people to you that you could go and check out that maybe you'd never heard of before, but to remind you of some bands that were around, you know, a few years ago that may be worth going back and reliving those years or seeing what they're putting out now. So, Friday, Mighty Mighty BossTones. Get my finger in the wrong place again there. Let's Face It. Or a previous album, Question the Answers. Well worth taking a listen to. Again, something fun to start off your weekend. And like I say, if you've never heard them before, you'll be in for a surprise. While you're at it, check out Dropkick Murphys too, another great Boston band. Okay, everybody, have a great weekend. Take care, stay safe. We'll see you on Monday when it's jazz.